Y'all just don't know. I'm so excited for today, y'all. Like today's a great day. So it's a great day for two authentic podcasts. It's just a great day. Ooh. Mm, mm, mm. Just one of them days when I wanna be all alone. Just one of them days that I gotta be all alone. Drink your chlorophyll, ladies. Woo! Smell good, taste good, feel good, look great, shape like the number 8. Hey y'all, it's your girl Ashley Monique, the host of Two Authentic Podcasts, the podcast that's always keeping it real, raw, and too authentic. Each episode, we strive to be our best selves authentically while healing, learning, and growing together. Let's talk about it. What's up, besties? Listen, today's a great day. Today is a great day. I am so excited. How are y'all doing? Happy Black History Month. What's been going on with y'all? Like, oh, I'm so excited. Like today, we getting it popping today. We getting it popping today. Um, yeah, happy Black History Month. Y'all been doing all right? How's y'all mental health? Did y'all take a day last month in January? And do you have one currently planned for the month of February? I'm not playing with y'all. Make sure y'all are really taking care of your mental health. Like them jobs don't really give a damn. Let's be for real. These jobs do not care. That's why I ain't there today. But that's neither here nor there. But anyways, have y'all listened to the last episode as well? You know, without guilt. It's available now. Go listen to it on all the platforms because you know it's okay to say no and it's okay to change your mind. Okay? Don't feel like you just have to be obligated to people, things, or any situations that do not serve you and that do not align with what you have going on and where you're trying to go. Okay? Like, seriously, we can't be out here just walking around feeling heavy, not feeling happy with ourselves and the choices and the decisions that we make because ultimately we're stuck with those. And if we're saying yes or saying no and doing things that we really don't mean, it's only hurting ourselves. So make sure y'all go check that episode out, okay? But also, bouncing off the last episode, y'all know I was telling y'all to like stay in your lane, take your time, trust the process. Like I really be meaning all that and all of that will ultimately lead up to where you're trying to go to. It will lay the foundation of what you're building. It will really just you just gotta hold on and you gotta hang in there, okay? Like do your part and God will really do the rest. And I really stand by that. Cause in the last episode, I told y'all that I was resting and resetting. Cause some of y'all was like, "Where the next episode?" And I told y'all like I was really taking a break. I was really embracing the pause. I was really sitting in that. But I was still doing the work. I was still praying. I was still, talking to God. I was still, writing my goals down, doing things behind the scenes. And at the end of the year, I decided to make two lists. One was for future guests that I would love to have on the show, and one was just what I want to ultimately do with the show, the goals for the show. You know what I'm saying? I wrote them down and I was just like, okay, this is the year that I'm changing things up. Last year felt really good, but this year I wanted to feel great. I wanted to be great. And in order for me to do that, I have to make some changes, a little bit more changes. You know, I have to be open. I have to grow. I have to step outside of the boxes and the comfort zones that I'm used to being in. I can't just continue to stay in the situations but want different outcomes. You know, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same answers, same results. That's insanity. You know what I'm saying? So, after writing these lists down and writing these goals down, you know, I prayed. I talked to my mom about it because them my two go-tos right there. Anything that's going on in my life, I'm going to always talk to God first, and I'm going to bring it up to Big Wanda, not the little one, because she ain't never steered me wrong, and she ain't going to tell me nothing that's wrong, okay? So I did just that. And when I tell y'all, after doing that, I still had to put the footwork in because faith without works is what? Dead. Okay. This episode is about to be so good, and y'all about to see how it's all going to come together. Today's guest just so happened to be the number one pick on my guest list choice, right, y'all? And the way God be working, he be like, here, you want it? It's yours. You've been doing the work. You've been doing patient. He was like, here, let me see what you do with this, right? So, from North Carolina by way of South VA, she's someone whose artistry comes from lived experiences, from faith, unlearning, love, loss, and growth. She's an artist, she's a writer, and she's a creative who understands that healing and honesty can exist alongside ambition. She's walked through pressures of expectations, the freedom of self discovery, and the courage it takes to stay authentic in rooms that don't always make space for that. With her hit single Blessings steady climbing the charts, it's a blessing that she took time out of her day to spend with us today, besties. I'm honored to welcome Jai Jemini to Too Authentic.
I am sorry it took me a little minute.
It's okay. It is
How are
all
you
good.
doing?
I'm good. How are you? How are you today?
I'm good. I love your purple.
Oh, thank you. I was about to tell you I love your curls. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you. Okay, but first, before we get into everything, I just want to say thank you for taking out your time to hold space for us in this conversation today. I really do appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
No problem. No problem. Okay, so how are you doing today? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty busy week, but I'm really just glad that I could just kind of sit back today and like talk, have this conversation. I listened to some episodes of the podcast and I just feel like as women, we need more spaces where we can just, like you said, hold space for each other. And so I'm really, really looking forward
Absolutely.
to it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I want this to be, this is something I'm building from the ground up. And this is just, my thoughts, just things I be going through. But I really I want it to be a safe space for all women, mothers,
Yeah,
because ultimately I feel like we all go through the same things. It's just different scenarios and different seasons in our life. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yes, yes. So, in this season of your life, what's going on with you right now?
It's been a lot of work, a lot of self development. It's interesting, like, as you start to get closer to the things that you've been like chasing, when you're like trying to build a platform and you're trying to like
Mm-hmm.
get your name out there and stuff like that. When you've been in the like workspace of it for so long, when it finally starts happening, it's like a little overwhelming and it's like, wait, I didn't expect this.
Right,
And so
right.
I feel like I still kind of been in shock and like in disbelief that now there's people actually waiting to hear music from me. But at the same time, it's a really good feeling.
Right, because you pray to God for this. So, when God bless
Yeah.
you and you ask for something, you got to be ready because He going to give it to you for sure.
Yes, yes. Even when you don't
So,
expect it.
right, right,
hmm
exactly. So, tell me, who is Jai Gemini?
Jai Gemini is the part of me that is bold, that is honest, that's vulnerable, um, when I am able to make music, I feel like I can be my most authentic self. I can say whatever I want to say, how I'm feeling it, and I don't have to censor myself. Um, I think that when people meet Jalen, the girl behind that, sometimes they're like taken aback because they're like, sometimes you sound so aggressive in your music, or sometimes you sound so like soft spoken, like when I'm singing and stuff like that. And they don't really know what to expect. But I'm just a regular girl, I'm just a regular
Right.
person. And like you
That's that
said, we go
balance
through.
though. You got to have that
Yeah,
balance. So,
absolutely.
yes, yes.
Yes, but
Okay,
we all go
okay.
the same
So,
things.
right, right. So, I saw that I think I read somewhere that you a PK. You grew up in church.
Yes, girl. Very much so.
Okay, I'm not a PK, but I did grow up in church, so I understand the struggle of dealing with, church and then really just trying to be your own self outside
Yeah.
of church and really growing in your own faith and really just coming to have your own relationship with God. How was that
Yeah.
experience for you growing up as a PK and then transitioning into the woman that you are? Because some of the things you rap about, that
Yeah.
right, you know what I'm saying? So you
I
got to
get
find the
you.
balance because, right, how was that
Yeah.
experience?
It was tough. If I'm being honest, it was very tough. I consider myself a PK, but I grew up with my grandparents, so they were even more, the older
Yeah,
generation is very
they
strict,
they deep in it. Right.
deep. They do not play. So it was
Mm-mm.
tough because I remember like going to school and elementary school and stuff like that, and really standing out because like the way I dressed was different, the way I talked was different. I wasn't like exposed to a lot of things early on that like my peers were exposed to.
Right.
So I felt left out a lot. And I think as I got older and I started to spend more and more time like away from home, I started to like really discover myself. And, you know, it's interesting because I feel like it's a pendulum. When you try to pull
Yeah.
someone so far this way, like it can make them
Mm-hmm.
swing.
Make
And
them
I
want to go.
definitely, yeah, I swung all the way to the left. I started doing
Me
bottle
too.
service.
Oh yeah, you was cutting up. You was
I was
cutting up.
outside. I was outside.
Yeah, and that was the thing for me too, because I remember that transition, even going off to college. It was like a
Mm-hmm.
whole new world. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this they say this is bad, but but really I'm over here having a good time. And it's like what
Yeah.
your parents are looking at you, but I think it's all a part of the journey because you just have to know when, okay, let me not overindulge, but I can still
Yeah.
have a good time because again, it goes back to having that balance because both
Yeah.
can be true at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What parts of that foundation from church do you still carry within yourself?
I'm still a very spiritual person. I pray a lot. I talk to God all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it may sound different than how like other people might expect me to talk to God, but it's like it
Hmm.
feels like the realest relationship that I've had. You know what
Right.
I mean? Because
Hmm.
I feel like discovering God through myself and not through another person. Because a lot of times, we're told what to believe. We're told other people's interpretations of things. And you're
Yes.
never really allowed the freedom to like
To know for
unpack and
yourself.
discover those things for yourself. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I still have a lot of those elements. But it's more so about like making sure that I'm going in the direction that God wants me to go. And I know that it might not always look like that from the outside, but it's like having that self-trust, knowing that
Yeah.
I have purpose, you know what I mean? And that the things that
Yeah.
I say and the things I'm like working on and doing, they have purpose. So
Hmm.
I've definitely held on to that over the years.
Yeah, because that comes with some unlearning of some things that we've learned in church, because I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, you grow into your relationship with God. As you start developing to a woman, you know that, like you said, you're going to talk to God more differently than what it might look like at church, or the way your
Yeah.
granny going to talk to God. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, Lord, what you
Mm-hmm.
got going on? Because what
What's
is this,
up?
Lord? What am I supposed to do with this?
I need, like, let me know what's going on.
Let me know, Lord. Like, oh, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, do you ever feel like a little torn between trying to still, keep what the church folks say and just be who you are? Or are you just like, this is who I am, and my relationship with God is my relationship with God?
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, I'm like pretty secure in it, but I'll be honest, when I go back home and like I'm around, because I grew up in a church family where they watched me grow up like as a little kid, and so
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard for them to accept that like I'm not a little kid no more. I've made my own identity.
Right.
But what has surprised me though is when I have those one-to-one conversations with people in the church, how many of them acknowledge that, none of us are perfect. All of us have this unique path. And I feel like a lot of times we don't hear that. We get a lot of shaming sometimes in church,
Shame.
depending on
Yeah.
every church is different. But, I feel like a lot of people can relate to feeling shamed and shunned, when you make a mistake
Mm-hmm.
or you don't follow what other people think. But when you have those one-to-one conversations with people, a lot of times you'll see, as you said, we're all a lot more similar than we are different. And so I think that keeps me
Right.
grounded.
Right. I think for me, the first time I ever felt shame was when I was pregnant. Cause that's
Yeah.
that's a big thing. You ain't married and they looking at you. And I think too,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was probably like, oh, these church folks are really mean. Like,
Yeah.
cause that's a big thing in the church. But I learned, I was like, you know what? I have no reason to be ashamed. The action has
Mm-hmm.
been done. The baby is on the way, and the baby is a blessing from God. Now it's my job to, have this baby and lead God and direct them in the path that I think would be pleasing in God's sight. Because I'm not
Yeah.
perfect, but listen, let that God let his will be done, and it is what it is. So,
You said that because that was exactly the imagery that came to my mind when I started talking about shame, because there were a few girls in our church that got pregnant when they was a little bit younger. And I
mhm.
remember how they were treated. When I
Yep.
personally feel like if this is a family that we say we are, like this is the time to come together
Hmm.
and to uplift. Because
Come
like you said,
together.
it's already happened, and a lot of times it happens because we're raised so Puritan where they don't even
Hmm.
talk to, well, I'm speaking for myself, but they don't even talk to you about sex. They don't even tell you
No.
like how to really, go about like being able to be vulnerable with somebody and when you should do that. It's just like they avoid the topic. So it's like you find out for yourself, and a lot of times you find out the hard way because you didn't
The
have
hard.
guidance.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. I
Yeah.
literally try to make sure that we have these open conversations because, like you said, my
Mm-hmm.
mama didn't really talk to me about that. It was just no boys, don't do that, and
Yeah.
go to church type. It wasn't, well, this is why you should da 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 da. Da. And
Mm-hmm.
I've really just unlearned a few things from that. And I was like, okay, well, what my mom didn't do with me, I'm going to make sure I do with them. Because, for one, I don't want them
Yeah.
to be shamed because they feel a way about a boy, or they're curious. Because once they're curious and then they hide, that's when things and accidents happen because there was never
Yeah.
no open dialect about it. So,
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
yes, 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 yes. So, I feel like, growing up from church, did that influence your music too at the same time? For your
Oh
love of music,
yeah.
should I say? Yeah.
Absolutely, because that's all I could listen to at first. And I remember, I went to a Pentecostal church, which is like Holiness
Okay.
Baptist. They're kind of in the same realm.
I'm Baptist.
Um,
Yeah, I grew up Baptist, so I know
hmm
Pentecostal. Yes.
So when the right song hit in the church, it's a
It hit.
experience. It hits. And I remember, I'm getting chills even just thinking about it. Like I just remember
Yeah.
those experiences where the music just transcended, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
what you would think is possible. It makes me think of Sinners, the movie Sinners. Have you seen it?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yes.
Yes.
When I
Just
saw
your
their
whole body just it's
interpretation,
just a feeling you can't control. Absolutely.
yes, yes. So that definitely influenced my love of music. And I grew up listening to like Yolanda Adams and the Clark sisters and
Mm-hmm.
um the Winans. And then my dad, when I would go to my dad's house, that's when he would put me onto the rap music. Because I couldn't listen to it at
Okay.
home. But when I went to my dad's house, he would put
It's
me on to
always
all the
them
other music.
daddies.
It always is. So he kept me well rounded for sure.
Right. That balance again. So who made you
Mm-hmm.
feel like in this music that you could do this, you could rap, you could be the singer, you could be the artist? What made you just feel like this is what I want to do and I love this?
Honestly, it was my dad. And listen, when we would listen to the music, I don't want to get emotional, but when he would come and pick us up, and we would ride. Because he's from Virginia, so he would come to North Carolina, pick us up, and we would ride to Virginia, and we would listen to all these different artists, and like the passion that we had for the music. When I first started rapping, he was the first person I ever let hear it because I was terrified. I was like, this is so
Mm-hmm.
against what people probably would have thought I would have been doing. And I just was scared to let anybody hear it. And I let him hear it. And if you go back and listen to my very first song, like it's very explicit. So it was tough for me to like,
I was listening to some of your stuff. I said, "Oh, okay."
yeah, it
But
was.
listen, you be in your bag though. You be in your bag.
Yes, I was at that age. I was like 19, 20s. I was really feeling myself, and just coming out my
Right.
shell. So I was popping it. And the fact that he accepted it, like it was just such a warm feeling. And he would tell me for years, you need to take this music serious. You need to take it serious. And I would just kind of like BS. And then he passed away in 2023. And a couple days before
Oh,
he passed away, I put out my first EP because I was like, I don't want him to pass, and I
without
never did
yeah.
what he said. And he listened to it. Last time I seen him was when he listened to my first thing, and so now I keep going because I know that like every time something
Yes.
happens, I'm like he will be so proud.
Right. Absolutely. He's definitely cheering you on. So let's talk
Yeah.
about this industry. So trying to break into the industry because sometimes it could be loud and it can get blurry. What's it like trying to
Mm-hmm.
break into the industry but still authentically being yourself, not trying to lose who you are?
Honestly, I think so much of the industry is a facade. And a lot of it doesn't really resonate with me, which makes me feel
Hmm.
like I will probably end up being independent for longer than I anticipated. But I'm just
Okay.
really about being who I am, not like a caricature of what somebody else thinks I should be. Um, I feel like when you try to break
Right.
into the industry, you get a lot of opinions. You get a lot of people telling you, "Oh, I don't like when you do this. I like when you do that." And you like, "Well, that's not who I am though,"
That's not.
And
That
people try
pressure.
to take advantage. It's yeah, definitely a lot of pressure. And then a lot of people to try to take advantage. They see that you're kind of like working hard on something. They try to attach themselves to you in an
Hmm.
effort to like elevate their own stuff, but then they're not adding any value. Um so I realized that the best way to go, even though it's like a slower route, is really building authentic relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like even when it
Yes.
comes to doing certain press things. Like I don't look at how many followers somebody has or like things like that. I look
Right.
at like what is your message? What do you stand for? That's something I can align myself with, you know, and same with artists that I work with and anybody I want to work with in the future.
Right. Because they'll try to make you, like you said, they'll try to put you in a box or try to
Mm-hmm.
over sexualize you.
For
And from
sure.
what I've been seeing from you, you really just, to me, you stand out because you really in your own lane. And I love that about you. And you're not out
Thank
here
you.
trying to be somebody else that's already out here because every other girl is kind of looking the same or rapping about the same stuff. So,
Yeah.
I hate that they really do that to the girls in the industry because it takes away, especially if you've been watching an artist from the beginning. Like, we're really watching
Mm-hmm.
you build you from the ground up. We're watching you take the risk, take the leap. And so when you see your artists do that and you rooting, and then they get put on, so to say, and now it's like, who is this girl? I
Like I don't even
don't
know
even know
her.
this girl. She don't even go here. Like, she don't even go here. Like, who is this? So, it's
Yeah.
like, it's hard to really find an artist that will really remain who they are. But I could see that you're really like fighting for that. And I can appreciate that because it's like, we need that. We need that.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that as a woman because you stand in your ground and you're not taking anybody's shit. And you could tell that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do need that. And I think that's what keeps me motivated is because I think about like artists that influenced me growing up and you know, everybody says they don't really want to be a role model, like, but whether we want to or not, we all are a role
You
model to
are
somebody,
right.
you know? And I
Exactly.
take that seriously. Like I want a young girl to be able to say like I like how she just do her and she don't got to do it like me, but it just gives her permission to do her in her way.
Right. Right. Exactly. And that's what's gonna make people be like, yeah, she the one. She the one. So speaking
Yeah.
of influences or inspiration, who are some of your favorite rappers or artists that influenced you?
It's a few artists I don't play about. You know what I mean? I don't play about Beyonce.
Of
I don't
course,
play
of
about J.
course.
Cole. I love
Right,
J.
right.
Cole. I
Just
love
dropped a new tape
Doechii.
too.
Yes, I loved it. I'm still working my way through the second half, but I love the first half so far.
Me
I
too, me
love
too.
Doechii, Doja Cat.
Yes.
Um, I
I
just love
love
artists who are
Doja.
themselves. Yeah,
Yes.
she's so talented,
I feel
so
like Doja
talented.
is so slept on.
Yes, I've been
I
screaming this on
think
the rooftop for years.
yes, and like I be listening to her, and I'm like, this chick is crazy. Like she
Yeah,
really be gassing, and I'm thinking like y'all are missing. Yeah, she mixed, she
it's going
white,
over their
whatever her little
head.
antics, but
Yeah,
she's raw. She can really
yeah,
rap her ass off, and they don't be trying to mention her in them conversations, and I be getting
they
annoyed. Like, nah,
don't.
don't leave her out because she can really out rap your favorite rapper.
I swear, I say the exact same thing. They
She
always try to
could
count her
really
out of the
out
rap
rap your favorite
conversation.
rapper. And even now, when
Yes,
she just did the Go Girl verse with Summer Walker and Lotto, she,
they playing with her. They
Doja,
playing with her. They playing with her. Like I
absolutely,
I feel like
absolutely,
she's breaking barriers. Her and Doechii, the reason I like them both so much is because they're breaking barriers in rap for women. Like,
yeah,
I feel like Doechii, she leans into a whole bunch of different vibes, but she really allows herself to be
absolutely,
expressive. I think it's more well received as rap just because her persona is accepted better. But I think
yeah,
Doja does the same thing. And it honestly gives me
mhm,
inspiration to feel like I don't have to be in a box. Even with this project that's coming out on Saturday, there were times where I was like, I kind of want to sing. I kind of want to like do a different vibe. And I almost
right.
didn't because I was like, this is supposed to be a mixtape. You need to just rap. And I had to stop talking to
No,
myself like that.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
You got to do what feels good to you. And that's what makes people connect to the music cuz we know, okay, she really oh, shit, she's singing. Wait, now she done switched the flow. Like, those type of connections that really just shows the different sides of who you are and your artistry. So,
For
but
sure.
I want to talk about blessings. That was the
Mm-hmm.
song that introduced me to you. And that one just sounds like it was very personal.
Girl, what? That was an affirmation for me. When I wrote that song, I was living in Miami and I was kind of going through a tough time because I didn't really feel like I fit in down there. Um
Okay.
Growing up like in such a small town like in North Carolina, going from that to like a big city where so much of your social currency is based off of how you look. And don't get me wrong, like
Mhm.
I know I'm pretty, but it's a different type of aesthetic
That's
that they're
different
looking for
down
there.
there. Yeah, it's different
It's
down
totally
there.
different. And it was taking a toll on me, you know, it was making me feel lesser than. It was making me second guess myself. And when I wrote Blessings, it made me feel like I'm that girl. Stop playing. I was
Yeah,
talking to that inner voice to myself, like, stop playing with yourself. Like, look at who you are, you know?
right.
Um, so yeah, I'm so glad that people loved it and connected with it.
Were you scared to drop it?
Um, Not really. Not really. Because at
Okay.
that point, when I dropped Blessings, I actually dropped it in 2023. It just didn't really start getting traction till last year. But at that point, I had
Okay.
already been dropping music for about 4 years, but it was just very sporadic. Like I would drop one thing a year, you know? So I wasn't scared to drop it, but I definitely did not expect it to be the one. You know, you never know as
Right.
an artist which
I was
one is
just
going to be
about
the
to
one.
ask, did you expect it to land the way that it landed? Because listen, off the rip, you come out the gate. I'm too raw to be tripping over
Tripping
niggas.
over niggas.
That right there, you that I when you said, I said, oh, she ain't come to play. Run that back one
At
more
all.
time. I said, oh, okay. And at first, it was just on Amazon Music. I was playing some songs and it came on in the car. I said, "Who is this? I don't know this. I've never heard this." I started it over because soon as I felt like I had to stand up and pledge allegiance. Like it was just giving, like, okay, get yourself together because she's not
Yeah.
playing. And then I
Mm-mm.
kept
At all.
listening and I kept listening. And then the one line, and I swear every time I hear it, I tear up because I felt that shit. You was like, bitch, I made it out. Don't know how I
Don't
made it
know
out
how
my
I made
mama
it out my
house. Don't
mama
know how I
house.
made it off my granny couch. When I tell you like that right there, every time I hear that, that's some real shit because when you've been
Yeah.
growing up and you trying to figure out life, there's been a couple times you done had to go home. There's a couple times you had to
Yeah.
go stay at your auntie house or stay with your
Yep.
granny. And I felt that because there's just been days where I be like, damn girl, I don't know how you got to where you are right now, but your mama prayers, your grandma prayers, like God really
Yeah.
got me off them couches. I was like, woo!
Yes. Yes. And that's my testimony. You know what I mean? And my
Yes.
testimony sounds different. It's not the same testimony that you get in church, but it's still real and it's still hit. And that's why I
Yes.
know it's purposeful still, you know?
Absolutely. Like that right. You definitely blessed me with that. And I just was like,
I'm
Lord,
glad.
Lord have mercy. So you said that again, you got a mixtape dropping on Saturday. So what can we expect from that?
Yes, it's called Love Letters and Diss Tracks. And this is honestly, it's the story of my last relationship. Um,
Okay.
it's very vulnerable, but it's also there's a lot of songs like Blessings that I feel like are gonna lift us up as women because for me, when I first started writing the music for this mixtape, it was during the phase when we had broken up. We were together for almost 4 years, so the breakup was very difficult for me. And I had a lot on
Mm.
my heart that I needed to say. And like I said, I feel like when I'm rapping, I can say exactly how I feel. I don't have to censor myself, no matter how harsh it might sound, no matter what, I could just say it. So the first few songs, they
Mhm.
were very, you know what I'm saying? F him. Like I'm off it. Um
Right.
and it felt so good in the moment. One of those songs is Bigger Than the Program. That's already out.
Oh
But it feels
yes,
so
that's a good
good.
one.
It felt so good to get it off my chest. But as time evolves, I realized that there was more that I needed to get out than just the anger. You know what I mean? There was other feelings there
Yeah,
that I needed to acknowledge to help me heal and move on, because something
that
that
full
really
circle
resonated,
healing.
that full circle healing, something that I really thought about a lot in the process of this project. When me and my ex first met, he told me, he was like, you just have this like sparkle in your eye, like you, this just joy for life, and I don't really see that often. And but by the time we broke up, I felt like I had lost that. Like I felt like I was looking at the
Mm,
world real jaded, and I didn't have that like same zest for life and that same optimism. And I wanted to find that again. And so that's what this project
yeah,
is about. It's like finding myself, being happy with myself, knowing who I am, and exploring like what love can do for you, what it can do to you, and like how you can move through it.
that's dope. That's dope. So that's why you chose
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yes. Yes, I feel like it was the perfect day. Cause sometimes you love a nigga, sometimes you hate a nigga.
Sometimes you hate a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Both can be true at the same time.
Yes.
So after dropping this mixtape, where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing this year?
I really want to just be more serious this year. I want to get the high quality content. I want to like be able to
Mhm.
organize some performances and like get out there and actually meet the people that supported me. I think that's what I've been looking forward to the most. It's very
Right,
difficult trying to like organize those things and like even figure out where to do those things. Where are the people that like listen the most? Like, are people gonna come? Like, it's
right,
hard to
right.
get out of your head, but I really want to do that this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Because, baby, you drop a show in Atlanta, I'm 2 hours away. I'm definitely pulling up. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know. Let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
So, during this season of your life, what has this season of trusting the process and healing been like for you?
I think for the most part, it's been trusting my voice and getting out of like the people pleasing fully, getting fully out of like being concerned what people think, because I feel like that's the main thing that holds us back. When we're trying to like grow into who we are, we're so concerned with like what other people think.
What other people
And I'm just getting
think?
to the point, it's like I don't really care no more.
Right. Because you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. And they gonna talk about
So
you either way. So right, you know
either
what I'm saying?
way,
You might as well do what you want to do, and I mean everybody else is anyways, right? So fuck it, we ball, you
exactly.
know.
That's
If
exactly how I feel about it.
you could tell baby Jalen anything, what would you tell her?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I would just be like, girl, stay weird, stay loud, like, don't worry about it, like it's coming.
Right,
I
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's coming. I knew from a very young age that I was meant to do something like big and important. But I always talked myself out of it. And I always would tell myself like,
Mm,
who are you? To like think that
right.
highly about yourself. But I
But
feel
why
like,
not you?
why not me? Why not me? So that's what I would tell her. Why not you?
Abs- Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming into this space today and sharing this conversation. I really do
Of
appreciate it.
course.
I'm looking forward to the mixtape. I'm looking forward to what you have coming for this year, because I know whatever you do, it's gonna be a blessing, and you're gonna bless folks, and you're gonna run it up. So I really do
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Tell everybody
Yes,
where
I
they can follow
appreciate you
you
too.
and listen to the
Yes, you guys.
mixtapes and everything.
Yes, you guys can follow me on all social media platforms at Just Jalen and Just Jai Gemini. Both of those is with the J. And the project will be out on all streaming forms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, all that this Valentine's Day. Love Letters and Diss Tracks by Jai Gemini.
This conversation really feels like a reminder that trusting the process and being true to yourself can exist at the same time. That you don't have to rush your becoming and you don't have to betray who you are to get to where you're going. Your journey shows that every season, the waiting, the unlearning, the leap, it all has a purpose. Even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. And to my besties listening, if you're in a season where you're choosing yourself, honoring your truth, or trusting the process without all the answers, you're doing it right. Stay rooted in who you are and let the rest unfold in its own time. Okay? So, y'all know where to listen. Y'all know where we're at: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. Make sure you guys are following on all social media platforms. You know what it is: TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Today, I'm just so very grateful. And when I tell y'all to just trust the process, please, please, please trust the process. Everything will work out the way it is. So remember, I love you, I like you, and remember to always keep it real, keep it raw, too authentic. Later, besties.